The first time she saw him, it felt like fate tripped over itself and landed straight into her lap. Sana was sitting alone at the dimly lit corner of a coffee shop in Lahore, her laptop open, fingers dancing over keys, lost in the world of her freelance writing. She hated distractions, yet her eyes caught the tall, sharply dressed man who walked in as if he owned not just the cafe, but time itself. Dark gray shirt hugging his muscled frame, sleeves rolled up to reveal veins, and a sleek silver watch. Black jeans, polished boots. His jaw was sharp, his beard trimmed just enough to feel deliberate, and those eyes, intense, grayish hazel, like storm clouds that could drown you or set you free. He noticed her, too. Their eyes met. She looked away. He didn't. "Is this seat taken?" he asked in a low, confident tone. She hesitated. "Not if you're quiet." He smiled. "That's rare, a girl asking a man to shut up on first meeting." She didn't smile. "I'm not like most girls, and I'm not like most men," he replied, sitting down anyway. His name, he said, was Zion Khan, a business consultant, well-traveled, independent, and recently returned to Pakistan after years abroad. They talked, and then they kept talking for weeks, late-night calls, morning texts, long drives in his black SUV, and eventually, touches that spoke louder than words. He was charming, knew just when to tease and when to soften. He listened. He noticed her chipped nail paint, the way she twirled her pen while thinking, how she hummed when nervous. No man had ever studied her like that. She fell, fast and hard. One rainy evening, they sat in his apartment, his so-called temporary place in Gulberg. Candlelight flickered. A soft indie track played on his Bluetooth speaker. She wore his shirt, half-buttoned, and nothing else. His hand cupped her face gently, thumb brushing her lower lip. "You make me forget who I am," he whispered. She smiled, kissing his wrist. "That's dramatic, even for you." "No, I mean it," he said, looking deeply into her. "With you, I feel like I can be someone better." They kissed, long and slow. Her fingers gripped the back of his neck, and he leaned into her with the kind of hunger that made her ache. Their clothes were lost between words and sighs. His hands explored like they had a map. Her heart beat recklessly under his mouth. She had never known desire like this. Every time he touched her, it felt as if he was drawing something from deep inside her, something primal, electric, impossible to resist. But love, real love, is not just made in bed. It shows itself in what happens after. And that's where things began to tremble. It started with small things. His stories didn't always match. One day, he claimed to work for a UK-based tech firm. Another day, he mentioned consulting for a Dubai real estate company. When she asked about his office or staff, he brushed it off. "Freelancers don't need an office, baby." He never posted on social media, didn't let her tag him. "Privacy," he'd say with a grin. "The world's too noisy already." Then came the lies he didn't even bother to hide. He once told her his mother had passed away. But later, during a call, she overheard a woman's voice in the background, someone he called Ami. She asked about it. He smiled that disarming smile and said, "That's my aunt. I call her Ami. Long story." Sana's gut twisted, but her heart made excuses. Maybe he was just guarded. Maybe he'd been hurt. One night, as they lay tangled in sheets, her head on his chest, she said softly, "Will you ever introduce me to your world?" His hand paused on her back. "I'm not ready yet," he said, "but I will. I promise. I'm serious about you." She wanted to believe him. The way he looked at her, the way he held her after making love. It felt real, but love should never feel like guessing. 2 months in, she followed her instinct. He had left his phone unlocked. She didn't plan to snoop, but temptation was a seductive sin. Her fingers trembled as she opened his messages. She found a chat with someone named Rita. Recent, frequent, I miss you. Next weekend, my usual hotel. You still wear that perfume I like? Sana's blood turned to ice. Heart thudding, she scrolled further and found photos. Rita, pretty, smiling, in bed, wearing his shirt, the same shirt Sana was wearing the first time they kissed. She didn't confront him that night. Instead, she pretended. She smiled. She let him kiss her. She even moaned as he made love to her again. But this time, she felt hollow, violated. Her skin burned where he touched her. After he fell asleep, she slipped out of bed, grabbed her bag, and left. The next day, she did what she never thought she'd do. She hired a private investigator. In less than 72 hours, she had answers that shattered her. Zayan Khan was not real. His actual name was Zishan Abbas. He was married, with a daughter, lived in another city. All the time he was making love to her, calling her his future. He was lying to two women. At least, the apartment, rented under a fake name. The business, non-existent. Everything he told her was crafted, calculated. He was a professional liar, a womanizer, a manipulator. Her tears came in waves, not because she missed him, but because she had given her body, her secrets, her soul, to someone who didn't even exist. She stared at her reflection in the mirror. What was worse, his lies or her willingness to ignore the truth? But then he called. She didn't answer. He messaged, "Where are you?" "I'm worried," she replied, cold and brief. "I know everything, even your real name." A minute later, her phone rang again. This time, she picked up. "Sana, wait," he began. "No, you wait. You lied about everything. Your name, your life, your promises. You used me." There was silence, then a soft chuckle. "You think you're the first woman to fall for a fantasy?" Her blood boiled. "You're sick. I told you from day one, I'm not like other men." She hung up, but the damage was done. In the weeks that followed, Sana changed, not broken, transformed. She started writing again, but this time stories about betrayal, about illusion, about how love, when twisted, becomes a weapon. She went to therapy, cried, healed, but some nights she still dreamt of his fingers on her skin, the kisses that once made her shiver, the promises whispered like gospel. Those weren't dreams. They were warnings, and she was done ignoring them. 2 weeks had passed. Sana thought she was done with him, done with the lies, the ache, the poison he had poured into her veins and called love. But liars never leave quietly. He came back, unannounced, uninvited. She had just stepped out of her therapist's office when a black SUV blocked her way. She froze as the window rolled down. Zishan, still wearing the same smirk, still in that charcoal gray shirt she once pulled off with trembling hands. "Sana, get in." She stared at him, silent. "You want closure, don't you?" he added. "Get in. I owe you the truth." Against her better judgment, she slid into the car. Not for him, for herself. They drove in silence. He took her to the same apartment. Everything inside was untouched, like a ghost had been living there. "I'll talk," he said, pouring himself a drink. "But you don't get to interrupt." She folded her arms. "Go ahead, perform." Zishan leaned against the counter. "Yes, I lied. My name, my life, even my career. But every word I said to you about how I felt, that was real." She laughed bitterly. "Real? You sent heart emojis to your wife the same day you slept with me." He flinched. "You think this is the first time I've seen men like you? You're just better at hiding it. You wrap your filth in roses." "You don't understand," he said quietly. "My marriage, it's dead. We haven't touched each other in years. I felt alive with you." "You used me," she said, her voice shaking. You watched me fall in love while you stood there, knowing you'd never catch me. He walked to her, stood close. But I did love you. She stepped back. Number, you don't lie to the woman you love. Then he grabbed her hand, firm, not violent, but intense. Sana, I never meant to fall for you, but I did, and I still want you. She yanked her hand away. You want me, she repeated. You had me, my body, my trust, my soul, and now you want more? He stepped closer. I want to make it right. Her breath caught. His closeness still affected her. His cologne, his voice, his warmth. Her skin remembered him. Her heart betrayed her. I miss your touch, he whispered, brushing a strand of hair from her face. I miss the way you sighed when I kissed your neck. Her throat dried, and when his lips almost touched hers, she didn't move. But then, she slapped him, hard. He staggered slightly. Don't ever confuse lust with love, she said through gritted teeth. You're a fantasy that turned into a nightmare. Tears welled in her eyes, but her voice remained steel. You lied about everything, even your name. You're not a man, you're a shadow. That night, Sana wrote again. Not a love story, a truth story. She posted it anonymously. It went viral. Thousands of women related. Some messaged her, saying they too had met a Zetian in disguise. A week later, she received a call from an unknown number. I read your story, the woman said. He did the same thing to me. I was pregnant. Sana's heart stopped. Another woman, another lie. That was the closure she needed. 3 months later, she had changed cities, changed phone numbers, changed herself. She now worked with a women's support group, helping others escape toxic relationships. She wore her scars like armor. One afternoon, she stood by the window of her new apartment, sipping chai, when her phone pinged. New Instagram DM from unknown account. I still think about you, about us. If you ever want to see me again, you know where to find me. She didn't reply. She simply blocked him, then kissed the warm mug in her hands and whispered, To hell with ghosts. The end.